Hey, my friends, welcome back to Nichols Makes Sense. I want to start today with a very specific scene. Tell me, with your body, not your brain, if you recognize it. It's 7:48 in the morning, you haven't even made your coffee or cacao yet. Maybe you're still in bed, or maybe you're sitting on the edge of it. One eye open, and before you do anything else, before you brush your teeth, before your feet hit the floor, your thumb is already moving toward that little envelope icon on your phone. And you open it, there it is, that number. Maybe it's 33 unread, maybe it's 833. Maybe, and I say this without judgment because I've been here personally, it is somewhere in the 4 digits. What happened? Your chest tightens just a little bit and your jaw sets. And so before your day has even started, before you've eaten anything or said good morning to anyone, your nervous system has already gotten the first threat signal of the day. And that is just the first time you checked it. I'm Diane, and today we're making sense of your inbox. The first thing I want to untangle is the idea that got most of us here in the first place. Inbox zero. You've heard of it, right? Maybe you've even chased it. The concept is simple. Keep your inbox empty. Process everything. Get to zero every single night. Some productivity gurus treat it like a moral achievement, like if you have unread emails, something is wrong with you. But here's the simple truth about inbox zero. It is a performance. And I say that as someone who has performed it. There is a very particular kind of anxiety that comes from chasing an empty inbox. You end up checking your email 20, 30, sometimes 50 times a day, not because there is something important waiting, but just because your nervous system is stuck in a loop. Open, check, clear, repeat. And it is reactive and it is exhausting, my friends. And the moment a new email arrives, the performance starts all over again. But let's set some things straight here. Your inbox is a mailbox, it's a communication tool. It is not your task manager, it is not your boss, it is not a scorecard. And the number sitting in that little badge on your phone is not a measure of how on top of things you are. But the ironic thing is that your body doesn't know that because your body sees that number and it registers it the same way that it registers any unresolved threat. Paloma Zygarnik, a psychologist that we've spoken about here before, showed us that the brain holds every open loop, and it's called the Zygarnik effect. So every unread email is an open loop. Every flagged message that you haven't acted on is a browser tab that never closed. That's an open loop. We've talked about how the Zygarnik effect keeps your brain running in the background at 9 p.m. when you're trying to rest. Your inbox is doing the same thing at 9 a.m. before your day has even started. It's pulling resources from your prefrontal cortex, which is that part of the brain that handles clear thinking, good decision, creativity, and before you've even had a chance to settle in. Inbox zero does not solve that. It just gives the loop a temporary empty screen to stare at. So let's talk about what we can replace it with and what I teach inside everything I do. Inbox Zen. Inbox Zen is not about achieving a number. It is about creating a rhythm. The shift is subtle, but it changes everything. Zero is a destination you have to keep returning to. Zen is a relationship you build once and maintain with very little effort. Inbox Zen means your email has a place in your day instead of having all of your day. It means you decide when you're open for business instead of being on call from the moment you wake up. It means your inbox holds messages, not emergencies. And it means that your nervous system finally gets to stop scanning. Here's something I say in my Inbox Zen checklist, and I believe it deeply. Your nervous system cannot tell the difference between I can't find that email and I am not safe. The stress response is exactly the same. The cortisol release is the same. The shallow breathing and the tight shoulders, all the same. So when your inbox feels like a monster, you're not being dramatic. You are not bad at email. Your body is doing exactly what it was designed to do. It is responding to your environment, and your environment has been quietly coded as a threat. Inbox Zen is about changing that environment, my friends, so that your body can stand down. Let me give you 3 practical places that you can start. This is not a complete overhaul. This is not a new system to learn. These are just 3 simple shifts that you can make today. The first is close the tab. Stop leaving your email open in the background while you work. That little number sitting in the browser tab or in the notification badge glowing in the corner of your screen, is a constant signal to your nervous system that something is unresolved, something is waiting, something might be urgent. So your brain cannot fully settle into focused work with that signal running. It's like trying to read a book while someone keeps tapping you on your shoulder. You can push through it, but you are spending energy on managing the interruption, not on the work itself. So just close the tab, my friends. Open your email when you are intentionally ready to be in it, not as a reflex, not first thing in the morning, not while you're in the middle of something else, but on purpose with your full attention. So that brings us to the second one, which is choose those windows. Instead of checking constantly, pick 2 or 3 times a day that belongs to email. Maybe 9:30 a.m. after you've settled in, or 1 p.m. after lunch, maybe 4 p.m. after you close out for the day. And then set a timer, 15, 20 minutes. And when the timer goes off, you close it again. What this does is train your nervous system out of that check, recheck loop. And then over time, your body stops bracing for the inbox because it knows that it has a container. It knows there is a designated time for that, and it's not an emergency. It will be handled. That shift alone from reactive to rhythmic is one of the most regulating things that you can do for your workday. The third is the one touch rule. So when you do open your email, make a decision in that moment. Archive it, delete it, reply to it, or move the task to a project management system. What you do not do is reread it, close it, and let it sit there, reminding you to do something. Every email you read without acting on is now a new open loop, a new browser tab your brain has to hold, a new low-grade stress signal added to the pile. One touch, decide, move on. I want to tell you what your body gets to experience when email is no longer running in the background all day. Your shoulders drop. And I don't mean that metaphorically, like physically. The tension that's been held in your upper body from bracing for the next notification starts to release because there is no next notification. You choose when to be notified. Your focus will also deepen because your prefrontal cortex, that creative, long view, decision-making part of your brain, is not spending half its resources monitoring a threat signal anymore. It gets to stay on the thing that you're actually trying to do. And also your evenings will get quieter because you close the loop on purpose instead of letting them drift into your rest. And here's the thing that surprises people most. You're actually more responsive when you have scheduled email times than when you're checking constantly. Because when you are in the inbox, you are in it fully. One touch, decision, done. You move through it faster and with more presence than you do when you're half in, half out, one eye on the email and one eye on the task that you're supposed to be doing. And I also want to say that Zen is not slower. Zen is just more intentional. And I want to stay here for a moment before we close because there's something underneath this that's worth naming. If the idea of checking your email less feels genuinely scary, first of all, I get that. I've been there. I know that feeling. But if the thought of not being immediately available makes your chest tighten, I want to invite you to get curious about that, not judge it, because that response is information. Maybe it's a boundary thing where somewhere along the way you learned that being available was how you stayed safe in your relationships or in your business. Or maybe it's a worth thing where responding quickly feels like proof you're on top of things, that you're a professional, that you deserve to be here. It might just be a habit that got wired in during a season when you really did need to be on high alert. Whatever it is, it's not a character flaw. It's just a pattern. So look at that. Patterns can shift when you give your nervous system enough evidence that the world does not end when you close the tab. So just start small, one day of 2 email windows instead of constant checking. And notice what happens, not what your brain says is going to happen, what actually happens. I think you'll surprise yourself. I know I was when I began implementing this. And here's the simple truth I want to leave you with today, my friends. Email is simple. It is just communication. It's a message sent, a message received, a response when the time is right. The weight we've attached to it, the performance of 0, the constant availability, the notification badge as moral scorecard, that is not inherent to email. That is a story that we've been living inside, and we can choose a different one. Your inbox is not your to-do list. It is not your boss, and it is absolutely not a measure of your worth. You are the gardener here. You get to decide what lives in your space and when you tend to it. So the next time that number tries to pull you in before you're ready, take a breath, find the exhale. And remember, you set the rhythm, not the inbox. I'm Diane Nichols, and I'm so honored to walk this path with you. Stay gold, my friends.